Welcome to Glorious Botafogo, the number one source of Botafogo news in channel. And I told you guys I'd come back if something, major, any new signings or anything like that, would come about. And boy, we had a busy 5 days of Botafogo because Davide Ancelotti is no longer the manager at the club. Davide Ancelotti left Botafogo after, per the requests of not only John Textor but also members of leadership and also from other areas of the club. Wanted actually John Textor back in November was already talking about this with Davide Ancelotti, that he did not want fitness coach Luca Guerra being part of Ancelotti's team anymore due to the high number of injuries and all of that. And at first, Ancelotti had agreed to replace Guerra, but then when he thought about it, he decided not to. And there was obviously John Textor saying, if Guerra stays, then both of you go. And Ancelotti said, well, then I guess both of us will go. And everybody left. Davide Ancelotti is no longer the manager of Botafogo. So then over the course of this weekend, John Textor and the scouting department went through a series of names for manager. And one of the number one targets of the season was Guanais. Guanais is the manager at Mirassol, which had a wonderful season, getting fourth place in the Brasileirão. Let me fix this right here. Getting fourth place in the Brasileirão, and I think he won Manager of the Year for Brazil. So yeah, it was an interesting name, but a name that's kind of just starting out. Although he has experience in other teams, and smaller magnitude, being Mirassol being probably the biggest team of the smaller stature that he has coached. But nonetheless, it was fantastic work. They're in the group stages of the Libertadores, so that itself was good. But the club, even though the club offered the 3 times as much as he was earning at Mirassol, he turned that down. And now Botafogo had to go to other names, and Botafogo had 7 names that they were talking, that John Textor was going to look at. The first name that John Textor looked at out of those 7 was of Martin Anselmi. Martin Anselmi was a coach, or is a coach, that started out in Argentina, found good success there, and then he went to Independiente del Valle. He won a Sul-Americana over Flamengo with Independiente. Then from there, he went to Cruz Azul, did well there. He went to Porto the very next year and didn't do so good. I mean, he got 3rd place in the Portuguese league, but, the club like Porto, if you're not 1st or 2nd, 3rd place is a failure. And he didn't find the success that he wanted with Porto. So then he got sacked. He hasn't had a team since he got sacked from the Club World Cup, and he was available. So him and John Textor talked. John Textor really liked what Martin Anselmi had to say. His philosophy, the way that he is at the on the sidelines, the way that he communicates with players. He seems to be a really energetic coach. He's only 40 years old, but he has shown good. He has a good promise. He's got a good potential, a good future. Well, about 10 minutes ago, Botafogo announced Martin Anselmi as the new head coach. Anselmi will also bring with him to the club, let me get the names here, Luis Piedrahita, whatever, and Pablo de Muner, and the fitness coach, Diego Battaioli, and goalkeeper coach, Dario Herrera. So two assistant coaches, 1 fitness coach, and 1 goalkeeper coach. The contract will be until 2027, 2 full years for Martin Anselmi, which is known to be a very offensive coach, which is known to be a coach to play primarily with 3 center backs and using the goalkeeper as the 4th man in a line of 4. The goalkeeper will sometimes come out of the box to receive passes and play those passes. So very interesting. It's very different than anything that John Textor has done so far at the club. Very different from Artur Jorge, very different from Ancelotti, very different from Luis Castro. And we will see, Botafogo has two left backs that now will play primarily in a more offensive role when the team has the ball, which is Marçal and Alex Telles. Botafogo has Vitinho, which defensively does really well. Offensively, sometimes he hasn't done as great, but he does show some qualities up front. They would now be playing their wing backs, and then he also plays with wingers. So it's like a 3-4-2-1 sort of setup, or a 3-4-3 setup, or 3-5-2. I'm not really sure how he's going to end up, but I think if I remember correctly, it's a 3-4-2-1. With the two on the outside being the wing backs. So in this case, Telles and Vitinho, two central, and then two players up front, and then a striker. Most likely wingers or center attacking mids that drift wide. We will see. I am, that's really just about the only thing I know about Anselmi. I haven't seen much, but I do know that from the clubs that he has gone through, Anselmi was liked by supporters. So I have a friend that's a Cruz Azul fan, and he spoke really well of Anselmi. So I am looking forward to this. I hope he's able to provide Botafogo with a Botafogo way that John Textor really looks for. I don't think it's much more of a system, but I think a philosophy and a way of playing. So hopefully Anselmi can deliver that Botafogo way, that style. As far as signings are concerned, Botafogo hasn't really made any signings. There's been talks of different players. There have been talks of negotiations happening. We're just nothing's been concrete yet, although the club is hoping to have all the signings done, everything, before the preseason. And from the look of how fast John Textor went from Ancelotti to Anselmi, just only been 5 days. It seems like John Textor has learned with the mistakes that he made in the beginning of the season, and he probably won't make those mistakes again. I hope so. I hope we all learned our lesson here, and that we will do better in the 2026 season. And speaking of 2026 season, our deal with Foot Fanatics have been renewed. So if you're looking for Botafogo gear like this shirt and official home jerseys and official apparel, you can go to footfanatics.net and use the code GLORIOUS10 for 10% off. And you can I got this cap over there. I got this shirt. It's kind of crazy. I have more clothes than my wife, and about half of them are jerseys, and about, I'd say 80%, 90% of those jerseys are Botafogo jerseys or shirts. So head out to footfanatics.net, get yourself a new Botafogo jersey, some new Botafogo apparel. Botafogo will have to play the pre-Libertadores, what it's called the Phase 2 of Libertadores, to be able to make into the group stage. We know that we're going to have to play in the altitude in February, the altitude of Bolivia, and then I think we'll go to Ecuador as well, to play Barcelona, I believe. So we play a Bolivian team in altitude and then a team from Ecuador to try to make it to the group stage. So similar situation of 2024 when Botafogo was champions. We're going to have to play that little pre-phase. We're going to add more matches to the rest of the year, but it's going to be interesting. Botafogo's first match will be January 14th, away from home against Portuguesa of Rio de Janeiro for the Carioca Championship. That is all for today. Again, if there's anything else major like this, I'm going to come back. I'm going to make you guys a video to keep you kind of in the loop and up to date, because this is the #1 source of Botafogo news in English. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.